Hello and welcome to Scott Bryson Beyond the Service. In this episode, we're going to discuss some safety tips. We're going to show a video here in a minute of what not to do and what you need to be thinking about in terms of just everyday life. And it's kind of sad state of affairs that we have to actually think about these things and that people like me have to make videos on them. But the world's gotten crazier and a little meaner. I think the world's always sort of been a bad place. You go all the way back to Cain and Abel. I mean, Cain killed his brother with a rock. So we've always had heart issues. People want to talk about gun control issues and things like that, but it's really a heart issue. But I think with society growing and social media presence and video presence or whatever, I just think I don't know if it's worse, but it seems like it's worse. We certainly know about it more. So I'm gonna play a video right now, and then we're going to talk about it because we have to have our head on a swivel regardless of what's going on.
ETE. We're checking for gas leaks.
A 72-year-old man murdered in the basement of his home on Newcastle Drive in Rochester Hills. His wife tied up with duct tape upstairs. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard says they got inside by posing as DTE workers with a fake placard on their truck.
Hey, Amber here. Why are we still opening doors to strangers? I don't understand. Your life is worth so much more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly, what transpired during that scenario, other than the fact that I've seen multiple videos on this across the internet recently. It's all over social media, and it's pathetic and pitiful that people are stooping to these new lows. We've been doing a podcast here for the last, 14, almost 15 months now, and sometimes we talk about safety tips and sometimes we talk about geopolitical things, but I think we need to focus more on the safety tips because that's what's helping people the most, I think. I don't know, but I have a segment on Rumble as well. Obviously, the podcast, you're watching my podcast here on YouTube, or as my friend Dan Bongino would say, ScrewTube. He's not wrong. They've been pretty good to me. TikTok, not so much. I've been put in TikTok jail a few times, so whatever. Pretty much done with them. It was a means to an end anyway. Thanks, guys. But yeah, our Instagram account's done well. Our YouTube page is, getting there slowly. The snail reached the ark. But yeah, I'm over on rumble.com/Haley. She has a show called Nightly Scroll with Haley. And on Thursday nights, you can find content like this over there. It's a live stream where we talk about safety. It's called Tactical Detail with Scott Bryson. So it's very similar to this platform, but just a little bit different. We have a dialogue and we dissect videos and different things like that as well. But yeah, I just wanted to play that video for you guys tonight because it's really, really scary, the world that we live in now. And the criminals are stooping to all-time lows. We saw it during COVID when they would go in and just raid grocery stores, but like pharmacists and grocery stores and shopping things, convenience stores. Sorry, I was searching for the word there. Like convenience stores, they're just going to wreak havoc and they're just taking stuff. They go in and steal Apple phones and all kinds of high-end merchandise. But the thing about it is, what you need to be aware of is this. When we get closer to like catastrophic events, or it could be anything from a hurricane taking the power out for a week or two, right? You might lose power, or a tornado, a natural disaster event. It could be an EMP. If you don't know what that is, do yourself a favor and look it up. People are about 3 meals away from anarchy and chaos. That's one of the reasons I've been doing some fasting. I think fasting is good. Don't worry, I'm not going to get off on a fasting tangent, but I think fasting is good from a spiritual perspective. I think it's also good from a health perspective. But I'm also trying to train my body. Like, I can go without food. I don't want to. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay to be uncomfortable. We can do hard things. Sometimes it's good to do hard things. That's why working out's important, right? You pushing your body and your muscles are growing when you're stressing them out. So same thing with your spiritual and psychological mindset as well. We have to push the envelope at times, right? And so anyway, the point of that is, if things get crazy and there's no food or there's a lack thereof, we're going to have to do our due diligence. And that's why I want to be a self-sustaining individual. But, most people don't have that opportunity to live out. A lot of people live in subdivisions or different things like that, and you can't necessarily have a big garden or animals and things. So we have to be proactive in our approach to daily life. And we have to know about things like this, because not only are the criminals going to come to your house, and these are just knuckleheads that are just bad for whatever reason they were wanting to rob these people. But in the end times, whether it's, the true end times of the world, like, Armageddon type things, or is it, a famine? Is it an earthquake? Is it some type of natural disaster? Have we been invaded? People are going to resort to violence very quickly because they go into that fight or flight mode, and they will do both, and they will do it at your expense. That's why I've begged you to watch videos like this. Thankfully that one didn't show anything bad. I'm not going to show anything bad, but the outcome was horrible. And I think that you need to take advantage of the Second Amendment. I don't know what state you live in, but know your laws in the state that you live in. Know that the Second Amendment covers your ability to bear arms, which is a good thing. Because without the Second Amendment, you're not going to have the First Amendment. You're not going to have all the other amendments, and you're not going to have food and water and gas and all the things. A lot of people are prepping, and that's cool, but I'm prepping bullets. I'll leave it at that. But I'm not prepping a bunch of food, but I'm prepping other things. But I think that it's really sad state of affairs that we live in a world where we have to worry about a guy showing up at your door and then doing something nefarious. So here's my pitch to the audience tonight, especially older folks. And I'm not picking on the older folks, but I was a criminal investigator for a long time, and I've seen all types of fraud and different things. And the average criminal, and at least with white collar crime, they try to prey on the most vulnerable, like gullible, right, or lonely. And that's why they say, "Oh, you can give me your account information. I'll send you some money because I've had some tax problems in country X." No, that's not true. Or it's a love affair, and this person is going to come here and marry you. No. So there's all the cyber stuff. Well, guess what? They're doing it in physical form now too. They're showing up on your door, dressed up like a worker. They're calling you up on the phone. My phone doesn't stop ringing with these robocalls. It's annoying as everything. You have to be guarded. And the reason I'm talking about this is because some of the most gullible people or nicest people are just that. They're gullible or naive or whatever because their hearts are so nice. Their hearts are so big and so good. And some family members of mine come to mind. They're just salt of the earth people. And I'm like, you just can't trust people. And it's sad because we want to help people. But at the end of the day, we just have to tap the brakes, and we have to analyze the situation, and we have to think, okay, is this real, or is this got a twist to it? And you have to also think for a second, well, where do I live? How did this person get to my house? Like, let's say, for example, you live at the end of a road. I know people that live at the end of a road. Well, that person passed all these other houses or all these other intersections or all these other subdivisions, and they somehow found your house at the end of the rainbow, and they're knocking on your door for help? No, they're knocking on your door because you're at the end of the road in the woods, and your house is dark. That's another thing. Leave some lights on, people. Leave some doggone lights on. Your power bill's not that expensive. It's just not. Pennies on the dollar. What's your appetite for risk? That's what you have to ask yourself. I'm leaving lights on. I'm not going to bed with the pitch black house on. All the lights in the house are going to be off, but the lights on the outside are going to be on. Not all of them. I don't leave all my floodlights on all the time. I'm not saying that, but I think you should leave a porch light on. You need some type of lighting, right? Because if I was a bad guy, where am I going? I'm going to go to the house that's lit up, or am I going to go to the house that's dark? Well, I'm going to go to the house that's dark. Anyway, different tangent for a different night. Leave some lights on. Don't go to the door if you're at home alone. Just don't go. And there's nothing wrong with calling 911. There's just not. If you're nervous, especially like if you're a woman or an older person and you're home alone, and it could be a dude. It doesn't have to be a woman. It could be anybody. And you're nervous, just call 911 and simply say, hey, and it's a cell phone, right? So you're going to have to tell them where you are because they're not tracking you. Not yet. That digital ID junk's coming next. But, just basically say, hey, this is Joe Schmo. I live at 123 ABC Street. There's a man on my porch, or there's two people on my porch. I'm home alone. I'm 80 years old. I'm whatever. I'm nervous. Can you send the cops out here for a suspicious person? Hopefully it's nothing. If it checks out, it checks out. Good. That's what the cops get paid for. They get paid to answer 911 calls. It's not all about writing tickets and pulling people over and all these things. They're responding to calls of service. And I say we because I was a cop for a long time, respond to all types of 911 calls. You wouldn't believe some of the things that people get dispatched to. So don't be afraid to call the boys in blue or the boys in brown, whatever the case is, and they'll come out and help you. It's, I'm not saying do it all the time. I'm just saying do it when you feel like you need to do it, right? So we can't let people in our homes. I would suggest probably getting like a doorbell camera of some type of device that would at least, video capture the person on video. It might not stop this. It could stop them. They could say, "Oh, there's a doorbell. I'm out of here." Or there's a camera. Abort. You want to give them some type of abort criteria. But if the very worst case, at least you have evidence, right? If something bad happened, you at least have some evidence. And I don't like thinking like that. But we got to start thinking outside of the box. We can't. The days of, 1975, unfortunately, is long gone. And picking up hitchhikers and helping people. And I listen, let your conscience be your guide. I still help people when I can. I'm also a 53-year-old man, and I'm usually with somebody, or if I'm by myself, I've got my little friend with me. So I feel pretty confident in my abilities to manage most situations. That doesn't mean something couldn't happen to me. I'm not suggesting that. But I'm also not what they're looking for as far as sex trafficking goes. I mean, let's be honest. The women are, the young girls are, the young women are. You have to be careful. And if a person's in the parking lot asking you for help with a flat tire, it's probably not your job to change. Let's go back in and get the general manager from Target or wherever, whatever store you're at. If they don't want to do that, then you're not out anything. You don't owe. The point I'm trying to make is you don't owe anybody anything. You just don't. Especially if you're a 22, 23-year-old girl, 30-year-old girl, young woman, whatever, it's not your job to fix flat tires and all this other stuff. It's just not. If you're at home alone and you don't have, you should know if someone's coming to your house. Although I will say that the power company out here lately has just shown up and started doing crap on the power lines it's a right of way, so it's a little different. But they're on my property, but they're not at my house, right? So it's a little annoying. But if you're having work done up near and around the house, you should know it because you should have scheduled it. I've seen some videos where guys were going to come in and change the air filter. You got to listen to what people are saying. Just because a guy's wearing a high-vis vest or has a clipboard doesn't mean jack squat. Don't fall for this stuff. Another thing I wanted to address really quickly is ladies, when you go out, not just ladies, but mostly ladies, when you go out to your car in the parking lot and your windshield wipers are up, you know how like when it snows and you see a lot of people put their windshield wipers up so they can clear off the windshield easier and stuff like that. If you come out to your car in the parking lot and it's not snowing and you didn't put your windshield wipers up and they're both sticking up like this, or one sticking up, or there's something underneath it, piece of paper, anything. First of all, what I would probably recommend, I would look around, and if I had an opportunity to get back inside, I'd get back inside right now. If I'm overcommitted and I'm getting in the car, then get in the car right now and lock the door. Lock the door. get the car started and drive off. Don't put your seatbelt on. Don't dilly-dally. Get off your dang phone unless you're getting it out to call 911. Situational awareness, you have to have your eyes up. Your radar has to be up. This is what people are doing to sex traffic young ladies. They're doing things. They're grabbing them because they're distracting them with the windshield wiper thing or something underneath it. Or worst case scenario is the piece of paper could be laced with something and it makes you get woozy, and then they grab you. Another thing they're doing, believe it or not, is they're using old women and they're using children in stores and in parking lots. Now, obviously, if a child's coming up to you crying, probably need to grab the child by the hand and take it into but don't stand in the parking lot, do dilly-dally, right? You should be, your spidey senses should be going off. And listen, I know I'm probably better at reading people than some of you, because I've been paid for 30 years to read the room and to worry and see the glass half empty. But your spidey senses should be going off like immediately. There should be a parent around, should be looking around. There's not. Kids get lost. They do. But don't solve the problem on the curb. Don't solve the problem in the parking lot. Get the child and go into the closest store and get a manager, another adult, and get the cops involved right now. Okay? So just because a child is lost doesn't mean he's really lost. Doesn't mean he's not, but doesn't mean he is. If it's an older person, doesn't mean anything either. A lot of times these, especially like these, I hate to say it, but like these Hispanic people that will use older women, and different ethnic groups. I can't talk. Different ethnic groups will use, and when I say ethnics, I don't mean black people. Don't be putting words in my mouth. I should be able to talk plainly without being worried about he's so sexist or he's racist. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I know. That there's the data shows what the data shows, and these ethnic groups from the Middle East and Hispanic folks from Central and South America, by and large, are the ones doing this, and some Asian folks too. But it is what it is. I should be able to report that, and I'm going to, because I'm trying to help keep you safe. Anyway, don't be a statistic. Keep your head on the swivel. We're not going to live in perpetual fear. That's what the enemy wants. We are going to stay in condition yellow, right? We talk about that all the time. Color codes of awareness. If you haven't heard me talking about it, some of you have heard me talk about it, and you're like, dude, shut up. Some of you are like, what are you talking about? Look it up. Go to the old Google machine. Color codes of awareness. And we want to stay right there in yellow. It's a low level of alert readiness. We're just paying attention. This thing right here, see my phone case? Lawnmower 1, phone case 0. At least it didn't tear my phone up. That phone is a distraction. You got to put that bad boy up. Put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocketbook. Use these things. This will telegraph what the person is doing. This is what hurts you right here. And you've got to be able to pay attention to your surroundings. Okay? Let's do it.